Have you ever stopped to think about this strange paradox? That some of the most insightful, intelligent people you could ever meet often feel the most profoundly alone. It's this quiet, persistent ache that so many people experience, but, well, we rarely talk about it. So let's really get into the reasons behind this silent experience. First things first, let's get a huge misconception out of the way. This feeling of isolation, it isn't because they can't socialize or because they dislike people. Not at all. In fact, many are incredibly good at navigating social situations. The real root of the issue goes so much deeper than that. You see, it really comes down to this. Their loneliness often stems from the very way their minds are built. They process things more deeply, they question more, and they tend to see the world through a lens that's always searching for meaning and complexity. And over time, that fundamental difference can create this subtle but very real sense of distance from others. And that brings us to the core question we're going to unpack. Why does that feeling of being on the outside looking in persist, even when you're literally surrounded by people? What is it about a deeply analytical mind that can make finding a real connection so challenging? Okay, so it all starts with perception. The way an intelligent mind takes in the world around it fundamentally changes what it looks for and what it needs from a conversation. What's so revealing here is the stark contrast. On one side, you have a mind that is just hungry for discussions about big ideas, about meaning, about the why of things. But on the other side, you have the reality of most everyday chats, which, let's be honest, often circle around trends, gossip, and the simple what. That gap between what's craved and what's available can make social life feel incredibly unfulfilling. This really helps us understand why someone might be quiet in a group. That silence, it's not a sign of emptiness or that they're not interested. So often, it's a very conscious choice. It's a quiet refusal to add to noise that feels hollow, a preference for a thoughtful silence over saying something that just feels meaningless. And then there's what happens inside their own head. Let's talk about the next piece of this puzzle, the internal process of overthinking that can turn just a simple chat into a source of total exhaustion. For most people, a conversation is over when they walk away. But for an analytical mind, that's really just the beginning. They can get caught in this loop, replaying the interaction, dissecting every single word, second-guessing the tone, analyzing the intentions behind it all. While it's a powerful tool for understanding, it is just mentally draining. It can make you almost dread the next social event. And this cycle leads to a really powerful need for self-preservation. When you're constantly worried you'll be misunderstood, or you're just tired of having to explain your thought process to people, silence can start to feel like the safest, most peaceful choice. It becomes a kind of shield, a way to protect yourself from that mental fatigue. Now let's look at this another way. This feeling of being different, it isn't just subjective. It's actually a mathematical reality. When you look at the numbers, it becomes really clear. Only a very small percentage of the population, around 2%, operates in that high aptitude range of deep, abstract, and analytical thinking. This means that finding someone who genuinely thinks on the same wavelength, who gets the same joy out of those complex discussions, it's just statistically rare. That scarcity of like-minded people is a huge, often unseen source of isolation. And this is a really, really important point. This feeling, it has nothing to do with superiority or arrogance. It's not about feeling better than other people. It's simply the quiet, constant awareness of being different, of having a cognitive operating system that very few others seem to share. And when you feel different for long enough, it often starts to feel a lot like being lonely. But this feeling of being different gets another layer added on top of it, a heightened sensitivity to the subtle emotional world happening all around them. High intelligence is very often linked with high emotional sensitivity. This means you're picking up on the tiniest shift in someone's tone of voice. You can feel the unspoken tension in a room. You're basically absorbing the emotional energy around you. And while that can create incredible empathy, it is also incredibly draining. It can leave you feeling completely overstimulated and just wiped out after social events. So when you put all of this together, the craving for depth, the mental exhaustion, this feeling of being wired differently, it is absolutely no surprise that solitude often becomes a sanctuary. And this is where we have to make a really clear distinction between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is the pain of not having connection.
Solitude for the intelligent mind is a chosen state of recovery. It's that necessary space to find mental clarity, to think creatively, and to find your emotional balance again. It's where the noise of the outside world finally fades away and your own thoughts can finally be heard.
So if it's not about avoiding people, then what is the end goal? What are they truly searching for when they do choose to connect? This really gets to the heart of everything. The driving force isn't a desire to be isolated at all. It's a powerful, deep longing for authenticity. It's about completely rejecting a quantity over quality approach when it comes to human relationships.
The real craving, the thing they're searching for, is a connection that goes way beyond the surface. It's about finding those honest conversations, that feeling of mutual understanding, that genuine emotional resonance. And until they find that, solitude will almost always feel more comforting and, frankly, more real than shallow interactions.
So as we start to wrap this up, I want to talk directly to anyone out there who feels like this is their story. If you've ever felt lonely in a crowded room, or like your mind just doesn't quite seem to fit, I want you to know there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not antisocial. You are not strange. You are just wired differently. Your experience is the natural result of having a mind that was built to see the world with an unusual amount of depth and clarity. And maybe the most important takeaway is this. Sometimes being intelligent means accepting that you might walk a quieter path than most. It's a path of introspection, of being selective. But it's also the path that leads you toward the incredible, profound reward of finding those few people who don't just hear what you say, but who truly, deeply understand your mind.